Ian Criswell said today the agency's disaster relief fund is down to $11 billion after it spent about $9 billion on its response to Hurricane Helene.
But I'm going to have to evaluate how quickly we're burning the remaining dollars within the disaster relief fund to see if I'm going to have to go back in and ask for additional funding sooner than what Congress is planning on right now.
So as Milton approaches Florida, officials and residents are concerned they won't have enough resources to help with long-term water, sewer, and power outages.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel, man. Is FEMA out of money? Are they out of money? Is the Federal Emergency Management Agency out of money? And that's what we're going to talk about today. And I think there's a lot of confusion because no, they're technically not out of money. But what I think is trying to be, amplified out there to the people is that they need more. They definitely need more. But let's see what's happening. You can see right there, that is the FEMA administrator saying, hey, we are spending money faster than we thought. We may need to go and get some more funds. We've already spent, I think they spent their funds is down to $9 billion. They have already spent $11 billion on relief for Hurricane Helen. We already know today is October 10th. We already know Hurricane Milton is here. So they're pretty much saying they're going to spend through that like crazy. Now, they are not out of funds. Let's make that clear. However, will they need more? Let's take a look. All right, so when we get into this, dates matter, okay? This was filmed on October 9th, yesterday, all right? Today's October 10th, okay? That was the administrator basically saying, hey, we almost out, all right? Now, if you go to the FEMA website, as of October 3rd, and it says rumor, FEMA does not have enough money to provide disaster assistance for Helen, and it's telling you right now, FEMA has enough money right now. That's keywords, right now, for immediate response. So they're saying for immediate response, we have the money for that, all right? And recovery needs. If you are affected by Helen, do not hesitate to apply for disaster assistance. There is a variety of help available for different needs. Now that was 7 days ago, all right? Now, how did all of this start happening, all right? I want you to see how this started. So this all started from this man right here. He's the Secretary of Security. His name is Alejandro Mayorkas. Hopefully I did not butcher that name, all right? He was the first one over a week ago to say, hey, they're not gonna have enough funds to make it through hurricane season. The relief goes way beyond. If you've ever been in a hurricane, I have. If you ever needed FEMA, I have. I've used those allocated funds. All right, the immediate assistance funds, which was the $750, and then I had to apply or get more funding later once everything was allocated, right? He's saying, hey, we need more funding because FEMA doesn't have enough funding to go in the long run, right? And people went with that like crazy. People are all online saying, hey, $750 is not enough. They have money. They're not broke. They got, they have $9 billion. Of course, $9 billion is good for now. But what people who have never been through disasters or who've never needed FEMA, what they don't understand is that that's not going to take you as far as you need to rebuild homes, to give people, put more money in people's pockets. That's all funding that's needed. All right, let's hear what he has to say.
How does the misinformation impact relief efforts?
Very, very significantly, Andrea. Thank you for having me. It is extraordinarily damaging. Most of all, it is extraordinarily damaging to survivors of Hurricane Helene, of natural disasters. Individuals lose trust in their government. They are reluctant to seek the assistance that they need to meet their immediate demands: food, water, shelter. They don't seek it. They are entitled to it. They need it. We implore them to ignore the false information that is being spread and to seek the help that we have available to them. It is also extremely demoralizing to our federal our emergency response personnel, the state and local emergency response personnel who are risking their lives in the service of those in need. When we reach into flooded zones, when we reach into a home that has been destroyed to assist another individual, we don't ask about their party affiliation. We have been clear throughout, and let me reiterate, that we have the resources we need. We have the funding that we need to meet the challenge of Hurricane Helene and the challenge of Hurricane Milton. But we are operating on a continuing resolution that is not stable funding for the long haul. and therefore we need a real budget and not a Band-Aid.
So do you want Congress to come back?
The president noted correctly that he has asked Congress to come back and provide funding so we have stability for the long haul. That is what we plan for. But let me be clear again that we can meet the needs immediately.
So that's his response regarding the rumors that's around that they're out of money, or money, is getting put where it shouldn't be. And most of the rumor is that the money has been allocated to support immigrants. And we're going to discuss that later. We're going to get into some back and forth, what both sides are saying, and you can make your own conclusion on that. However, he did just say that they requested for Congress to come back in to get more money for FEMA, because Congress is the only person that could approve more funding, and I will show you why that is later. But let's look at the response from Speaker of the House Mike Johnson in regards of Congress coming back in to propose more money for FEMA.
Well, DHS Secretary Mayorkas has said they don't have money to get through what they need for the rest of this hurricane season. We've heard similar statements from the Secretary of Transportation. President Biden has said more money is needed. Will you call Congress back before the election? Do you need to?
Look, we'll be back in session immediately after the election. That's 30 days from now. The thing about these hurricanes and disasters of this magnitude is that it takes a while to calculate the actual damages, and the states are going to need some time to do that. I'm from Louisiana. We're a hurricane-prone state. We're experts at disaster recovery. We've done this. You don't just send estimates to the federal government. You send specific needs and requests based upon the actual damages, and that takes some time, especially with storms of this magnitude. So Congress will do its job. Remember that before we left Washington, the day before Helene hit, by the way, made landfall, Congress appropriated $20 billion additional dollars to FEMA so that they would have the immediate dollars they need to address the immediate needs. Then after that, Congress always takes the due approach of providing what is necessary. Congress will provide. We will help the people in these disaster-prone areas.
So there you have it. That is the reason why he is stating that he will not bring Congress back in. He won't bring Congress back into Washington to allocate more funds, because they already gave $20 billion. However, we just saw that they've already just ran through half of that. Now, with them running through half of those through Hurricane Helen, or Helene, however you want to say it, there's been rumors about immigration, all right, about immigration and the funds being allocated elsewhere. It started from Trump. Some of his supporters just jumped on that bandwagon. Let's take a look.
There's not enough money left in the fund. So it is the case that the administration itself, the secretary who oversees FEMA, has said there's not enough money left in the fund, and they have been spending billions of dollars for the last 4 years to move migrants from our border, to put them up in hotels and give them room service and maids. That's simply a fact.
So that is part of the rumor that's been spread. Trump has said it. A couple of other Republicans have said it. Let's hear the response from FEMA in regards to those rumors.
It's frankly ridiculous and just plain false. This kind of rhetoric is not helpful to people. It's really a shame that we're putting politics ahead of helping people, and that's what we're here to do. We've had the complete support of the state. We've had the local officials helping to push back on this dangerous, truly dangerous narrative that is creating this fear of trying to reach out and help us or to register for help.
Okay, so that is the FEMA administrator's response to that. She's just straight out denying it. So where does this rumor come from? Because every rumor or every sense of false information stems from somewhere. It's always something that they can take, kind of twist, and then put out a false or misleading information. So let's take a look. So what Trump and other people are referring to is the Shelter and Services Program, all right? It is claiming that the grant program was taken from the budget. However, if you understand Congress and how government works, all budgets are already put in place. So they're not just, money is here, so we're going to grab it and move it over to this other program without asking for any permission. That's not how the government works. Someone who made the claim got the inaccurate information from an October 1st Federalist story that the misleading said the Biden-Harris administration took more than $1 billion tax dollars that had been allocated to the agency responsible for American disaster relief and used it to offer services for illegal immigrants. FEMA has said that the money was not rerouted from FEMA's disaster relief fund, which is funded by Congress separately. For fiscal year 2024, which ended September 30th, the Disaster Relief Fund had almost $57 billion in total budget resources, including about $20 billion in initial appropriations from Congress and more than $25 billion in supplemental appropriations. We have different programs other than just disaster relief. And we had a budget that was already set. There's money that went to that initial program that I just spoke about, and then there's money that went to the Disaster Relief Fund. All right, Disaster Relief Fund. I don't know why that's a tongue twister for me, but the money is separate. No one's taking from one fund and going to the other because they're already pre-allocated. All right.
Tonight, former President Trump back in the storm zone in must-win Georgia, alongside Republican Governor Brian Kemp, a sometimes Trump critic now backing the former president.
I'm not thinking about voters right now. I'm thinking about lives. A lot of lives lost, a lot of people missing.
Trump also facing new criticism for this false attack on the administration's hurricane response.
The Harris-Biden administration says they don't have any money. They stole the FEMA money just like they stole it from a bank so they could give it to their illegal immigrants.
The White House slamming that as a lie.
It's just categorically false. It is not true. It is a false statement.
In the last 2 years, FEMA has distributed over $1 billion in taxpayer money to shelter the record numbers of migrants in cities across the U.S. But the White House and FEMA say that's from a separate government program, not for disaster relief, and there's no evidence funds have been diverted.
Now, those are the facts, all right? Those are the facts. So when it comes down to it, FEMA is not out of money. They have short-term capability to give the basic relief that is needed. But in the long term, they don't have enough money. They're going to end up running out. They needed more money. They requested that to Biden. Biden asked Congress to come back in. The Speaker of the House said, no, we're going to wait because these things take a long time. We want to know how much damage is there and how much money is needed to correct the damages. Now, could he have brought everyone back so they could, come up with a, just a number of what they think is needed based off past hurricanes at this level? Yes. Is there a reason why? You be that judge, all right? But there's one thing I want to point out to you guys before I go, and that is Article 1, Section 7 of the Constitution. All bills for raising revenue shall originate in the House of Representatives. The Senate may propose or concur with amendments as on other bills. So remember earlier in the video, I said that the president cannot sign an executive order to spend money or give money because Article 1, Section 7 of the Constitution stops that. It prevents that from happening. Every raised revenue must come and originate from the House. Senate can have ideas, they can push it to the House, but it must originate to the House. Now, who runs the House? Right now, this very moment, Republicans. All right? So this is the game that politics play. Now, Democrats do the same thing. They will block something from either side to say they're not getting things done. So if you are complaining about the $750, which is just for immediate assistance, by the way, all right, there's more money to come, all right? You're complaining about the money that's been given to anybody, FEMA, immigration laws, border laws, anything. You have to look at the House because everything originates and passes through there first. And with that, I will let you make your own educated opinion, all right? If you're still here, hit that like and subscribe button. I'll see you next video.